Auspicious greeting to all friends from around the world. This is Venerable Zhixing from Guang Shilai Temple in Los Angeles, United States. Thank you for joining our online English Dharma service. It is nice to share the Dharma with all of you again. Last time, I talked about dependent origination, a very important teachings in Buddhism. All phenomena arise from causes and conditions. Because they arise from causes and conditions, they are subject to change, meaning their nature is dynamic. They are changing all the time. We call this impermanence, and this is true for all beings and all material objects. We can observe these changes everywhere and all the time. We see how a seed grows into a plant. We see how seasons change from spring to summer to autumn and to winter, and the cycle continued. We see how water turns to ice when we freeze it, or how it turns to steam as we boil it. We can also observe this change on our body. We all grow from a baby to a child, to an adult, and to an old person. This truth also applies to a larger scale, such as the universe. Abraham Loeb, the chair of the astronomy department of Harvard University, once wrote in the Scientific America magazine, he said, "The only thing that remains constant is change." What's true for our life is also true for the universe. And he said that astronomers quickly realized that not only the universe and its galaxies, but also the stars in them must have been born and eventually will die. Everything that is fabricated is subject to change as the conditions change. A very good example is the evolution of the famous peppered moth in Britain. Before the Industrial Revolution, the pepper moth were great in color, so that it actually camouflaged well on the tree trunk. However, after the Industrial Revolution, the great pepper moth slowly died off because it then became an easy prey for the bird. Since the tree trunk became dark due to the pollution from the factories, the great pepper moth actually stand out from the dark tree trunk. At the time, the black pepper moth, which had a DNA mutation that make their back and their wing black, they start to rise in number because they now camouflage well on the dark tree trunk. From this evolution study, we can see that as conditions in our surrounding changes, it would affect the relative outcomes as well. In this case, increase in pollution from the surrounding factories darkened the color of the tree trunk, and this change in turn affect the survival rate of the great and black pepper moth. In addition to changes in our outside world, our inner world is also subject to change. Our feelings are changing all the time as well. I remembered when I was young, I used to like to drink a specific brand of soy milk, and I would get to drink it whenever my grandmother bought it for me, and I feel very happy when I get to drink it. And this continued on until one year, I suddenly developed an allergic reaction to it. And whenever I drank a bottle of soy milk, my stomach would hurt. After a few times, whenever I saw the soy milk, the happy feeling that I once had were all gone. All I felt was a reminder of the stomach ache after drinking it. I'm sure all of us more or less have similar experience. Our feelings for things or for people are changing based on our experience with them. We might have a special fondness to a food that we ate when we were young. However, the feeling from eating the food changed when we ate the same food many years after. Aside from feelings, our perceptions on various things, whether it is our own perception or the perception of the society as a whole, is also subject to change. And we can see this in the perception on beauties. Perception on beauties is very subjective. However, we can see changes in the society's perception of beauties from past to present. In the past, the standard of beauties had been associated with class and wealth in many societies around the world. Thus, at the time, ladies who were curvier and heavier were considered beautiful, as it was an evidence of wealth and fertilities. Those in lower class would need to perform physical labor to survive, thus they were normally thin and muscular. The standard of beauty started to change around the 60s. If we look at a fashion model or idols or movie stars on TVs nowadays, we can see that having a slim figure is considered beautiful. In the Mahaparinirvana Sutras, the Buddha said, "Impermanent are all component things. They arise and cease. That is their nature. They come into being and pass away. Release from them is bliss supreme." From this passage, we can see that if we can really understand and realize that all phenomena are impermanence, we can find happiness in life. Why would this be? If we reflect back to our life, on our subconscious level, we don't really believe that everything are changing all the time. We tend to believe that we will be healthy with no major sickness. Our families and friends will always be with us. Our career will go on the way that we want, and our life will go on as it usually does. This is why when there's a sudden major change, like my doctor told me that I have cancer, or a loved one suddenly pass away, or a natural disaster struck and we lose everything that we have, we would be very devastated. With the current COVID-19 pandemics, lots of people suffered from the virus and they are struggling with their fear from the negative changes in their body and that their life is coming to an end. Doesn't mean that changes are bad, as we tend to want to live in our comfort zone and reject changes. Impermanence should not be viewed as negative. Instead, it implied that there would always be hope. It teaches us to appreciate and seize the present moment, and it teaches us to view everything with a calm mind. Changes in all phenomena told us that there will always be hope. There's a lot of up and down in our life. We're happy when life goes the way that we want. However, there's bound to be time when we failed or encounter obstacle. Because conditions can be changed, there will always be hope. Just like the farmer's donkey that fell into a well. The animal cried for hours as the farmer tried to figure out what to do. Finally, the farmer decided to bury the donkey in the well because the donkey were old and the well need to be covered up. So he shoveled dirt into the well. The donkey cried terribly at first, but it slowly quieted down. A few shovel load later, the farmer finally looked down the well and was astonished at what he saw. With every shovel of dirt that hit the donkey's back, the donkey was doing something amazing. He would shake it off and take a step up. As the farmer continued to shuffle dirt onto the donkey, he would shake it off again and take another step up. Pretty soon, the donkey was able to step up over the edges of the well and ran off. Life is going to shuffle dirt on us. The most important thing is we should create the conditions to help ourselves to get out of the well. Things will never be the same. They will change. Thus, as long as we don't give up, we can get out of the deepest well in our life. Just like the current COVID-19 pandemic, it will also come to an end. We are in this together. As long as we work together and do our part, we can make it. Aside from giving us hope, impermanence also taught us to appreciate and seize the present moment. In the final admonition of the Buddha, he told his disciple, impermanent, subject to change, are component things. Strive on with heedfulness. Once, there was a wealthy man who went to an island for vacation. He hired a boatman to take him around. As the wealthy man was sitting on the boat, he started to chat with the boatman, and he said, I've spent 5 years to get married and build my family. I then spent another 10 years in establishing my career and another 10 to build and strengthen my business. Once I make a lot of money, I'll pass this to my son and retire. Then I'll buy an island and start to relax and enjoy life. After hearing the man's comment, the boatman replied, I don't need to wait 25 years. I'm enjoying my life at the present moment and do what I want to do. Most of us are probably like the wealthy man in the story, working hard and building our career and in making money and planning to wait till retirement to enjoy life. If we reflect upon our life, how often do we busy ourselves with work and life that we forget to enjoy the beauty around or to enjoy quality times with our family? We will never know what would happen to us the next moment. Whether we want to or not, our body, our life, our surrounding are changing all the time. The flower that blooms today might wither tomorrow. Thus, enjoy and appreciate what you currently possess, whether it's your loved one or your possession. Take a moment to just relax and appreciate the beauties around you. As we don't know what would happen the next moment, we should also seize time to practice the 3 acts of goodness: do good deed, say good word, and think good thoughts, and to cultivate good conditions. Impermanence also taught us to maintain a calm mind. Everything is uncertain. It may not be bad, even if things look bad. It may not be good, even if things look good. Once, there was a man who owned a horse. One day, the horse ran off. The neighbor came over and told the father of the man how unfortunate it was that the man lost his horse. And the father said, it may not be good, but it may not be bad either. A few days later, the man's horse came back home and brought another horse with it. The neighbor came over again to congratulate the father of the man on this turn of event. The father only said, it may not be good, but it may not be bad either. A week later, the man fell off his horse when he was riding and left himself crippled. The neighbor came by again and expressed how sorry he was hearing this news. The father of the man again said, it may not be good, but it may not be bad either. Not long after war broke out, the country enlisted all young men to be soldiers to fight in the war. All young men in the village went off to war except for the crippled man, and most of them died in war. From this story, we can see that at each turn of event, the outcome are uncertain. It may be bad, but it may also be good. Even if it seems bad, but it may also be the best outcome at the moment. Just like the man in the story, it seemed bad when he broke his leg and became crippled. For most people, it would be unbearable. However, it is also because he became crippled that he has the chance to live in wartime. So what is bad? What is good? We should not be too quick in making judgment because causes and conditions are changing all the time. Thus, next time when you are faced with difficulties or things didn't go the way that you planned, change your perspective and think that this current causes and conditions is always the best one for you. It may not be good, but it may not be bad either. If we can think in this way, we can always view all the event and occurrence in our life with a calm mind. To conclude, I hope that we can all take some time to contemplate about impermanence and observe how all that are fabricated are changing all the time. If we really understand about impermanence, we will see that it will give us hope. It will enable us to appreciate and seize the current moment and to always observe all occurrence in our life with a calm mind. We will learn not to become attached, and if we don't become attached, we will not think in terms of having or lacking. Thus, we can live fully and happily. Last but not least, thank you for joining us in this cultivation session. May Buddhas and Bodhisattvas bless everyone with happiness and peace. May everyone be safe and well. Aum Mito Pho.